and those 5 free transfers. I am here with my good pal Scott. We are 2 up top today, going all strikers. Welcome, mate. How you doing?
The best 2 up top, yeah. We don't need that lanky number 9 messing up our chances. No, all good, all good. We had a good week. My Bruno Hall coming in eventually. 3 weeks late. Didn't captain him, but I guess you can't have everything. Yeah, good week. Can't wait to get into this episode. Really.
Yeah, me too. Looking forward to it. That Bruno Hall was the reason I got a red arrow this week. After
Brilliant.
Plenty of green arrows in the previous week, so I can't complain. But yeah, let's get on to the top 5. So I will share my screen and let's crack on.
You deserve the red arrow this week anyway for your bench Tennessee jam.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Is that all coming through for you?
That's all good, yeah. Looks lovely.
As we didn't get to test it properly. Goodness me. You seen adverts on the side there, Scott?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. 2 seconds, mate. Let me fix it.
Technical problems all in tonight, eh?
I know, we're having a right mare of it. Apparently, I've got to watch an advert for 15 seconds because I don't have a subscription for Microsoft 365. So what I'll do is go again. Attempt number 2. My apologies. We'll get there in the end. How are we looking, Scott?
That's better.
All good. Okay.
Yeah, all clear.
So it was. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I'm not sure how I can get around that, Scott. That didn't happen before. Try again. Third time lucky, maybe not. We'll try. It was a tough watch for an Arsenal fan, but it's sooner or later. And yeah, it would be against Villa, who's a bit of a bogey team for us. Did you watch the game?
No, we were at the racing, weren't we, during the game?
Of course we were.
So half watching some horses lose and half watch Arsenal lose at the same time. Yeah, I mean, on the highlights that I saw, it seemed quite an even game. Villa probably caused you more problems than any team for some time. And like you point out, they're a bit of a bogey side for you. So the matchup of systems and players seems to favour them slightly in the head-to-heads. And a scrappy last-minute winner probably didn't deserve to go against you or for them. So yeah, just one of them things that happens in football, I guess. That you dust yourself off and go again next week.
That's the plan. Is it panicking you for your 2 Arsenal defenders at the back?
Mate, they've been appalling. They've been since I went tripled up for 1 week, and it didn't work. So I lost one and doubled up, and they've not kept a clean sheet in the 5 weeks I've had them. No real panic as yet. Although there's a few injuries setting in that Arsenal back line, and I'm having to dance around a few of the back lines. I mean, with Darren having all his Newcastle mids, I'm going through your whole back line at the moment. So, you know, I'll persevere with it until I get completely sick of it.
I don't. I guess next on it would be reminiscent to talk about the man in form, potential must-have in your FPL teams at the moment, and that's Phil Foden and his performance again. So
Well,
six returns in 3 now.
6 returns in 3 games. I mean, we spoke about Foden a few times, haven't we? Potential. The City were reliant on Haaland, and they needed someone to step up and help him out with the goals and that. And we sort of earmarked Foden and Shirky to be the 2 guys that were most likely. You brought Foden in, and I reluctantly had this plan that Bruno was going to be my man, and so I saved the funds for him. And Foden beat me to the punch. But he does this. He's very streaky, isn't he, Phil Foden? He goes games with doing nothing, and then it just explodes for a short period. And if you have him in that time, you're laughing. And he's had an incredible 6 price rises in 12 days, which I don't think I've ever experienced before in FPL.
I think it's first from what I was reading. I think that's the first it's ever happened. Especially so quickly.
I mean, did you get him in at 8 million?
Let me just check.
In fact, I think he went down to like 7. Might have been 7, 8.
I got him at 8.3. He's now 8.6.
Wow. Okay. So
yeah, I got him at a quite hefty price already.
I mean, he'll keep going up, won't he?
He's been incredible. Obviously, kind of swapping with Haaland. Really, Haaland's not scoring all of a sudden, and Foden's picking up the baton. But he's I owe probably all my green arrows and fine form in recent weeks all to him, really, because he has definitely filled some gaps within the point team.
Absolutely. I mean, and City still look a little inconsistent during games. But with Haaland blanking, they needed someone on to step up. And Foden looks like his minutes are good as well. Certain people off to AFCON, so Marmoush and the like won't be threatening his minutes. And he's banging form. And Pepper's come out many times and said that his fitness, he can play twice a week. And is always available to start. So, almost essential, like you said, to get him in right away with one of those 3-5 transfers that we now got.
Yeah, and next I would be remiss to talk about the mighty Eagles, mate. I've called them consistent there because you seem to be going on this run of 3 or so wins, then dropping some points, then going on a 3 or so win streak, then dropping some points. But you are definitely the team that is keeping consistent. It's quite difficult to pick who's going to score the points, but your defense is definitely doing the job for you.
Well, I think on the stats, on the data, we have the second best defense behind your boys. Which is where the whole team ethic is built on, just being solid and very hard to break down. And we don't play defensive football. It's just a very strong structure that we have. It's very hard to get through. Every player knows his role. We are looking a little leggy at the back end of games, sort of hitting the wall at about sort of 70 minutes with all these games that are coming thick and fast. We don't have the squad depth that Glasgow has the luxury to rotate many players.
Yeah.
And it is showing. But I mean, all credit to him against Fulham. We ground out that win the other day against Fulham. I thought it was thoroughly deserved. We looked threatening throughout. I'm not sure how long we can be consistent before these games really catch up with us. But we're living a dream at the moment.
Well, enjoy it while it lasts, mate. I've learned that as an Arsenal fan. You've got to enjoy the highs while they're there.
Absolutely.
I guess that goes nicely on to the man that probably saved a lot of people's weekends, especially some of those top players, because that would be only reason why my rank was really affected was Bruno finally obviously good after you've backed him for several weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
They were very impressive in the second half, obviously against a very struggling Wolves side. who currently are on course for the worst ever points total based on their points to game ratio currently. So it's tough going for them.
Well, I read a stat yesterday that the three teams that have gone down previous with the worst records had already secured a win by this point of the season, and Wolves haven't. 15 games in, they're the first side in history, Premier League history, to go 15 without a win, and they looked awful yesterday. I've seen them a few times, and they've looked unlucky in the games I've seen them previous. But that second half, they were so lackluster, and United had so much space to do whatever they wanted, and Bruno and Burmo and Cunha were just loving it. And I thought Mason Mount had a good game yesterday, just filling the spaces. But if you give quality players that sort of time and space, they're going to punish you. So, although I take the points from Bruno and Burmo happily, I think Wolves are probably cast adrift, and even the commentators on the game were commenting on them preparing for the Championship for next season already. So, moving forward, Wolves should be the team I think we all target, starting with Arsenal this weekend.
And yeah, I guess that perfectly goes on to the brief chat about 5 free transfers that we'll obviously go into more depth during this episode, but probably ties into, I guess, one of the men that will be leaving for AFCON in the coming weeks, and obviously has been sitting on the subs bench for the Liverpool side recently, and come out with some rather bold comments. Be interesting to get your take on it, to be honest.
Well, he was interviewed after the Leeds game, where he didn't come on. We watched that game together, and Liverpool again did their usual. They played pretty decent for an hour. They were 2 up. They conceded a really awful penalty, and they sort of they collapse. They get really shaky and wobbly at the back, and Leeds really stuck it to them for the last 20 minutes. And I think Salah was interviewed afterwards, and it seemed like he was caught just in the emotion to start with the frustrations of the game, frustrations not coming on, frustrations of being benched for the last 3 weeks. And I think he just let it all pour out. It didn't seem like a premeditated thing that he had planned.
Yeah.
It just seemed to be very emotional and off the cuff. And obviously, he's gonna regret that. I think, because I think Liverpool and Slot are going to take a hard line on him. My personal feeling, and unfortunately, I think he's played his last game for the club. I think they'll move him on. Obviously, he goes to AFCON. He could be gone for 5 weeks. I think in that transfer window in January, I think we'll see him gone.
Wow. Yeah. It's a lot's been made of it, obviously, in the media. Obviously, Jamie Carragher had his say on Monday Night Football. And yeah, it must be difficult for someone who's been so important to Liverpool in their most successful, part of the Premier League era, and to then be sat on the bench. He must feel like he is being blamed. I can see why he would probably think that. And obviously, I guess it doesn't help that it's kind of hiding behind AFCON as the reason why he's rotating him out, which clearly he's rotating him out based on form. I think that would be more beneficial if at least he was honest, because again, it just creates more Chinese whispers, which then adds fuel to the fire. And yeah, I think you're right, which I think would be a shame. Shame for the Premier League, a shame for obviously his standing in Liverpool's history, because I'd hate to think that it's gonna, leave a mark on it. And also, attempting to replace him is going to be very much easier said than done, as we've seen with the amount of money they spent in the summer.
I think using him as a scapegoat, if that is Salah's view, I mean, they haven't looked any better without him, which I guess is something. They've looked equally as bad when he's been on the pitch and when he's not been on the pitch. So, I think he's an easy scapegoat when things are going bad because his lack of defensive work. If his output going forward isn't amazing, then I guess he is an easy scapegoat for it. But it made me sort of think that maybe last season, with his record-breaking season that he had, that maybe Liverpool was so reliant and it masked a lot of problems for them. And now that his output has dropped, let's be honest, his output hasn't dropped to a level which is unbelievably bad. It's just not the most Salah that we've been used to for the last 8 seasons. But for most other players, the output he's been coming up with would be fine. You know, just that he was elite last season. Let's not forget he scored 29 goals and 18 assists last season. You know, in 38 games. That's phenomenal. You know, this season he's had six returns, 4 goals and 2 assists. So it has dropped off, but not to levels where he should feel that he's being made the scapegoat. I didn't see it like that, but if he sees it like that, then that's where the frustrations come from. I guess we'll see what happens moving forward. But yeah, I do think we've seen the last of him, which is bad for the league, like you said. It's also bad for FPL because you need that elite level price in the game. Without him in it, Haaland and the template becomes stronger and stronger.
Has made FPL much more, I guess, an entertaining game because you've had to make those difficult decisions. Whereas if it's just Haaland, there's less decisions to be made. He's going to be in everyone's team then.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see. They might be able to reconcile stuff and move forward. Who knows?
Well, let's get on to, I guess, points totals for last week, and then we can kind of go into a player that we've called out from each position to kind of have people thinking about their 5 free transfers for game week 16. And I guess I should just reiterate, you don't have to spend all 5 of the transfers in game week 16 because I've seen there's been some confusion on the interweb. So just for people listening.
They are your transfers to do what you want with whenever you want with.
Exactly. So game week 15. So Scott, you finished on 59 points. Total points of 887 now, and you are 346k in the world.
Been that rank for the last 8 weeks.
Yeah. I finished on 52, 872 in total. I dropped rank, but again, still really happy considering my start. So 589k.
Yeah, that's good.
Ranked total. And then Darren on 51 points, total of 740, and his rank is 5.8 million with Bruno G still coming good for him. So I guess let's have a quick chat about his team. So yeah, I will give him his plaudits. Bruno G has been a really solid pick.
How? Let me ask you how. Have you seen
massively overperforming all his statistics?
He scored direct from a corner at the weekend.
But he keeps doing it.
If he scored directly from a corner, you can't keep doing that.
Yeah, still, it's points being prizes. Scott, at this point.
We'll give it to him. We'll give it to him.
Cherky again. I'm not so sure of him on a long-term pick, but currently he is doing the business. So no player has provided more Premier League assists than Ryan Cherky this season, and he's only played 398 minutes in total.
Yeah.
So he's got 5 assists so far this season, which is
it's just
impressive.
For him,
it shows how that's it. That's the risk with having him is if you got him for his hauls, then great. And then I like the Cunha pick. I think that's obviously the slightly right field with Embuemo going, and obviously they're going to need to be more reliant on Cunha. So I like that. And he finally got a bit of luck with Van de Ven, which we'll see how long that lasts.
Mm-hmm.
We'll tell more when his game week 16 reveal. We're going to you, Scott. Obviously, I assume the Man United result kind of helped your week massively.
It not only helped, it absolutely bailed it out. I went into last night's game on 31 points, facing a massive red arrow. I think I was ranked at about 750k at that point. But there was a reason why I picked Bruno. I really fancied him. The back-to-back West Ham and Wolves games, I really thought he would get something. I captained him in the wrong week. I should have captained him this week and not last week. But that's how it goes. I mean, you called the captain correct last week. Yeah, I'm still happy with the team. I've been pretty stagnant for, like I say, eight weeks. Rushed ahead. It's like I'm stuck in a bit of quicksand at the moment. But yeah, still happy with how things are going. And I've got a solid plan for the next few weeks, which we'll discuss in a bit. And there's your man Calafiori there, highlighted in red with his 5th yellow and banned for the plum fixture against Wolves. So cheers for that.
Annoying.
Very.
Yeah, for sure. And then, a quick one for me. So Foden's obviously been the shining light for me for the last 3 weeks. Really supported my rise in the ranks. It's been great. The virtual experiment has backfired, and I'm very frustrated with that. And I brought in Van Hecker last week, and he managed to get an assist at the death. So overall, pretty happy. I risked Thiago captain against a Spurs team who couldn't buy a win at home, and they finally win at home and keep a clean sheet. So I don't know. Maybe hell froze over this weekend, but
your rank has jumped. I mean, where were you ranked like 3 weeks ago?
I've gone up approximately 1 million places, maybe more. About 5 weeks ago, I was around 2.5 mil. So in 5 weeks, I've jumped up to 2 million places there or thereabouts.
So you should be roughly where you should be this time of year, considering you're a pretty decent FPL and football knowledgeable guy. So you're going to give me a bit of a run for my money this season.
That's the hope. I always try and finish strong at least. Okay, so we're going to get on to our game week 16. Suggestions by position. Again, this is myself and Scott picking one each. So let's see how this pans out. Oh no! Well, first and foremost, fixture ticker. Of course, I forgot about that.
Take a screenshot and move on.
Yeah, take a screenshot and move on. So this kind of, I guess, brought into some of my decisions. So I was looking at the likes of Newcastle, Brentford, United. Probably avoiding West Ham if I'm really brutally honest. Obviously Arsenal, and then you can't really dismiss Man City. So that's the one. The one thing that's not on this list is I can't see them there. They must be further down the list. Is Aston Villa. So be interested to see how they do, because nine wins in 10 games is pretty extraordinary. So but difficult is clearly according to Fantasy Football Hub. So first and foremost, goalkeepers and defenders. I've done the goalkeepers from all 15 games of football that we've both picked first team goalkeepers. So so put the stats in and pretty identical with regards to their overall stats, fairly close. And then I just the 4.5 mil. I like the price point. I'm not sure if I would potentially risk the 0.4 for Leno, but again, the Fulham fixtures are pretty sweet. They've got 3 of the teams that are right down there in the next 3. So those were the ones that I was really thinking of when suggesting Leno. But what made you suggest Kelleher in this instance?
Well, two things. But firstly, the price. I mean, let's be clear. Making a goalkeeper transfer is usually not advisable because the points swing is usually not worth it. But if you are stuck, say you're unhappy with the Arsenal defence and you're on Raya and you've paid in excess of $5.5 million for him, and you want to remove a bit of money out of that position, then Kelleher would be where I'd go. He's a whole £1 million cheaper if you got Raya at 5.5. I think he's up to 6 now, isn't he, Raya? I think he's the most expensive keeper ever on the game.
Yeah, he's the first goalkeeper to get to 6 million.
Yeah,
which is pretty insane.
Which it is insane because his ceiling is 6 points. Because he makes no saves because Arsenal don't concede many. So anyway, if you want to take money out of the goalkeeper position, then first and foremost the budget. But the fixtures for Brentford are pretty favourable. So I listed it in blocks of 5. So basically, it covers you for the busy Christmas period. And my thinking is that you're going to need reliability. So all my picks for every position will be a player that's a 90-minute guaranteed starter for the time being, because you're going to need it. You're going to need reliability over the course of Christmas because the game weeks come thick and fast. I think there's five game weeks in the next 3 weeks. So his fixtures are Leeds, Wolves. Sure. Can't read my writing. Leeds, Wolves, Bournemouth, Spurs, Everton, and then I've chucked in Sunderland as a 6th, as a bonus, because the next 6 are pretty tasty. And on the stats, all those teams I've listed are in the bottom half for expected goals this season. So it really ties in with Kelleher's save potentials. Only Bournemouth in 10th, anywhere near the top half of the table. So yeah, everything sort of lines up. They haven't kept many clean sheets this season. I think it's 2. But I think that will turn around in the next 5. I could see him getting 3 clean sheets.
Nice. Yeah, that's the main reason for me suggesting Leno, really. Burnley next, Nottingham Forest the game after, and West Ham the game after that. So 3 really pretty fixtures in a row there during that AFCON period. They've got a couple of difficult ones after that. But again, I'd be thinking this is only worth it if you're looking for a goalkeeper, especially if you want someone like me who likes to kind of have 2 goalkeepers that I can bring in and out. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why I was looking at him.
Yeah, well, Fulham actually have done really well against the teams that you'd expect them to do well against. They've sort of been beat up a little bit by the better sides this season, but the teams in and around them they've actually done really well with. So those fixtures you mentioned just there, I think Fulham could quite easily get 2 or 3 clean sheets there.
Nice. And then defenders, obviously you've chosen Nkapie as your suggestion. He's just come into the side, obviously now since Gabriel's injury. Mm-hmm. What was the main reason for you picking him?
The main reason for me was twofold again. Firstly, I'm looking for a replacement for Calafiori in my own team. Obviously suspended this week. Yep. I really, really want that double Arsenal defence for this week against Wolves, who are completely shot shy, and I think it'd be the easiest double clean sheet of the season. So clip that up when Wolves score in the first minute.
With that first attack, yeah.
Yeah. But with Gabriel being out, there's no sort of time frame on when he'll be out. I can't see him coming back this side of Christmas. And if he is, I can't see him being rushed anyway because they have strength in depth. And we know how good Nkapie is from our watching the Bundesliga. He's far too good to be sat on the bench. And he's looked very good since he's come in. He also allows me to upgrade in Burmo to Foden if I choose to do a double move. Yeah. But for him as a one-off pick for the next 5 games, which I think he'll play, fantastic. I think he comes in, Arsenal keep 2-3 clean sheets in the next 5. And then he was my direct replacement when Gabriel was fit, just swap him back over.
Nice. Yeah. Very valid.
And you and O'Reilly, I mean, you've mentioned O'Reilly for the last 6 weeks, I reckon.
Yeah, and he's not my team.
Yeah.
I haven't got round to trying. I'd love to try and get him in. I think it's the price point. It's quite difficult to get to. And in my team, I was looking at other priorities. I definitely could get to him if I really, really wanted to. And it would definitely something I would be considering, mainly because it's that third striker position for me. Attack to pick in FPL teams. That doesn't seem to obviously to be the strategy, the working strategy so far this season. So maybe I should rethink it a little bit. But yeah, there's no one really at that third striker option that's kind of blowing me away or going, you definitely need to have him. So I could quite easily downgrade my third striker and then put more. I could get to him quite easily. So it's something that I'm contemplating, because I think his minutes are obviously will be almost guaranteed with Eight Nori going to AFCON. Obviously, there's some risk that Gavardiol might get rotated to left back and they bring in someone at centre back, or maybe Ake goes out there on the odd occasion here with obviously the Christmas period. So there is obviously that rotation risk with Pep Roulette. But yeah, I as a footballer, I think he's a natural midfielder playing in defence, and he's looked good going forward. So I think there's probably more opportunities with clean sheets coming up. They've obviously got you guys this coming weekend, which I think is going to be a tough game. Then West Ham after that, Forest after that, and then Sunderland after that. So there's some more clean sheet potential, despite them quite regularly of late. But yeah, I do like him for his attacking output, I must say.
You could also downgrade Virgil to get him in quite easy.
Well, he's on the chopping block for sure. Yeah. We can talk about that when we get to my team. Yeah, so it could be a direct move. I haven't done that as of yet, mainly because I've looked at midfield first. But again, you can tell me where I'm going wrong, sure, when we get to my team, because mine was a lot of my groundwork was done today. Midfielders. So you've gone with your main man, Bruno Fernandes, and I've gone with, I guess, a more of a budget enabler in Dewsbury Hall. So do you want to quickly, I guess, wax lyrical about Bruno Fernandes and the coming fixtures?
Well, just to clear up, I didn't go for Bruno because of his haul last night. I'd actually sent you all the stuff before the game, and Paul will vouch for that. No, I've been on Bruno for a number of weeks. I've been eyeing up these double fixtures and thinking that surely other people see it and get on him. And I think Foden stole the march on everyone's attention. But I think Bruno will be firmly on the radar now, especially with funds in people's teams in Burmo, particularly leaving for AFCON. There'll be money there in that midfield for people to upgrade to Bruno. And with the last night's haul, he becomes the highest scoring midfield player in the game at present, which I guess surprised a lot of people, because I think he's one of those players that people would love to dislike, because he spends half the game chasing the ref and his antics and that. But he's so involved. I mean, he has every route to points. He's on set pieces. He's good for defensive contributions. He can see a pass. He can score. I mean, the guy has multiple routes to points. And I can see some hauls coming in the next few weeks for sure. And I think because of his haul last night, his price will just rocket up now. So if you're looking to get on him, I would get on him like pretty sharpish.
Yeah, I must admit, I've been, I wouldn't say a skeptic, because obviously I know of his ability. I think it's more a skeptic of Man United as a squad, as a team, than Bruno, which when you're paying £9 million for a guy that kind of hauls in every 3 games, kind of. He'll get good points returns in every 3 games. £9 million is quite a lot of money to outlay, and it's just kind of trying to make sure you're on him when he gets those hauls. But again, looking at him and his underlying stats are so easy to read that it's really hard to deny that they just need to finish their chances, and he could be scoring every week with regards to getting points. So I am certainly looking at him, and obviously I think I might have to try and get on him early before he's all of a sudden comes to Friday and he's 9.1.
Well, you're all right reliability.
So yeah,
plays every game, 90 minutes, never pulled off.
Takes all set pieces.
Yeah, I mean, the penalty was scored in the 91st minute or something yesterday, which just proves the value of players that are on the pitch all the time. So, yeah, over the busy Christmas period, he's an absolute guaranteed starter and a must-buy, I think.
I like it. Yeah, for me, I picked Drewsbury Hall because, again, I was thinking of who's that fifth midfielder, and the fifth midfielder that adds value.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been brilliant. 5 returns in 6. His underlying stats are not great. He's scoring chances that he shouldn't realistically be scoring.
Mm-hmm.
But again, ever present in that Everton side, and Everton side in really good form. And I think, he's well worth that 5.1 mil. And again, it's fairly low owned. So I think if you're looking at someone to be that fifth midfielder option, the difficulty here is, again, you never know when he's going to score those points, because he might have 3 blanks in a row and then score, 2 in a game. So very similar to Bruno in that sense. But yeah, so that's why I've
Do you think you missed the boat with him?
I don't think so. I think it feels like it because he's been very consistent over recent weeks. It may feel like it, but I just think at that price point, it's hard to miss the boat. There's a reason he's that price point. And I think with Njai going to AFCON as well, he's going to be even more important to that Everton side and potentially contribute even more. So
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I like it, but I guess when you pick players like that, it's when to play them. Like you said, it's really hard to know when they're going to score, and because of this price point, you tend to want to bench them more times than not, and you can guarantee that you'll bench them during a haul.
Yeah, I think that's another. I've got quite not a lot of funds across my backline outside of Van Dijk.
Right.
A lot of my funds are entry-level defenders, so I'm kind of thinking, could I flip between 3 at the back, like a 3 at the back formation, and just rotate those 5 defenders between them? If they're all fairly cheap defenders, always go 5 in the middle, and then he'd always play.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I was thinking. Again, a bit selfishly for my team. And then onto forwards. This was a difficult one, and you can see by the 2 people we've picked and the stats are identical, and yet the price points are very different and the ownership is very different. So yeah, this is why I was kind of pointing it out, really, why that third striker is becoming such a pain in my backside, and something that I'm struggling to deal with because it goes against all my notions of how I want to play FPL, of playing, 3 strikers, 3 top strikers who are going to score every week. And at the moment, outside of Haaland and Thiago, we're not getting it. So I just find it very slim pickings. But yeah, Raul Jimenez for you, Scott. I'm going to go on the radar and say it's because of the beautiful fixtures that are coming up.
Well, yeah, I mean, you picked Leno for the same reason. I mean, in my own team, I've stripped out that third striker spot because I was sick of the lack of options in that spot. As you point out, I've gone down to a Mark Gu 4.2 and just stripped all the money out of it. But if you were thinking like you have been, if you wanted to have a 3 up front, but keep it reasonably budget friendly, then Raul would be the guy to go to because they're currently struggling in that position with Muniz out long term. So minutes are guaranteed for Raul over this busy period. He is only 6.2 mil. He's only 1.3% owned. He has returned recently. Returned 3 times in the last 6. Fulham look a little bit in and out. But if they're going to score, he will invariably be involved. And the fixtures are lovely, as you've already said. Burnley, Forest, West Ham in the next 3. You can't get any better.
Yeah,
so
it's tempting that. It is tempting.
Yeah. And just
Might have to mark it up quickly.
So in terms of XGC, I listed the teams in order. I mean, Burnley are 19th, Forest are 16th, and West Ham are 17th. So if Raul's going to score, it's going to be in the next 3 weeks.
I like it. I'm going to have a look, see if I can afford those picks all of a sudden.
So you can have a Haaland, Thiago, and Raul front 3 for 3 weeks and reassess after that. Could be an option.
Cool. And then the last 5th pick was a bit of a wild card pick. So let's go for that one.
You're going for Bowen.
So Scott, you've gone for Morgan Rogers.
Morgan Rogers. So, like I said at the start, the theme of my picks are reliability. 90-minute men going to start. I guess Jared Bowen steps into that category as well because he's Mr. Reliable for West Ham. I just think that it's West Ham and B, he's classed as a forward when he's not really playing there. Morgan Rogers, I mean, he's massively underperforming on his figures from last season. But Villa, as you've already mentioned, a banging form. These fixtures coming up, I don't think will be much of an issue. You might see a bit of a tailing off in terms of results for Villa, but I think their output going forwards will continue. Rogers is always likely to be there or thereabouts in the involvement in goals because of where he plays. And I've seen little glimpses of Ollie Watkins returning to a bit of sharpness as well, which is good news for them. And him and Rogers link up very, very nicely. So, in current running with a theme of reliability, I mean, he's not the most exciting of picks. I'm sure there'll be other players out there that haul more than he does. If you want someone just to put in at a reasonably cheap price, was he 6.9 at the moment? Only 10% owned. You can't look any further than that because he's Mr. Reliable. Just stick him in, forget him. He won't cause you any problems.
No, I like it. Can't argue with that, especially with the Villa form. For me, wild card pick. I thought, just go quite wild on it. So, Bowen, been ever reliable in previous seasons. Obviously, West Ham's form this season has been hard to write home about.
They've been a hard watch,
they haven't got easy fixtures. They have been a tough one. He's the guy that returns when they do return.
Mm-hmm.
Their form is mixed, but it again depends how you cut data. They've only one loss in 6 games, which was against Liverpool. They've drawn 3 of the last 4 though, and won the 2 previous.
Yeah.
Again, he's returned in the last 2, which is those 2 returns there. After the Villa and City game, they've got Fulham, Brighton, and Wolves and Forest. That's kind of what I was looking at. After those 2 games, those 2 more difficult games, they've got 4 games that are probably a little bit more winnable, and where he could potentially be a differentiator with only 5.6% ownership.
Well, he is the third highest forward in the game at the moment.
Despite West Ham struggles.
Despite the struggles. But my issue with Bowen is that he's still playing wide. He's still playing in a technically a midfield role, and classified as a forward. So you miss out on an extra point for a goal, the clean sheet, etc. Which puts me off straight away. And the price tag. I mean, what's he priced now? 7.6, something like that.
7.5. Yeah,
pretty hefty. Yeah,
yeah, and that, I guess, that probably highlights the back to our point of the having three strikers is difficult to have if he is the third highest point scorer as a forward this year.
Yeah, but if you want to target those fixtures as you've highlighted, then he's an option because he's always a threat, even in a struggling side. He's a quality player. Again, he's a 90-minute man. Will play every game. Won't let you down and could surprise with a few big scores.
Yeah. Cool. All right, mate. Should we go on to, I think, our teams next, if I'm correct? I think you're first, Scott, from memory. So I added in your potential transfers. So obviously, caveat anything here, mate. But fire away.
Yeah, so Saka is in. I've already done the move to make use of the price drop for NGI and the price rise for Saka. That was always a planned move. I had the exact money to do it, so I had to do it when I did. Saka's in really because I want to captain him against a very weak Wolves side. The two changes there, Foden and Nketiah are probably 90% going to happen. The Nketiah one, I think, is definitely going to happen. I just want to ride out your game tomorrow night in the Champions League first, just make sure he comes through it injury free.
Yeah,
and that'll definitely happen. The Foden one, I can wait because that is in Burma at the moment, who is likely to play in game week 16 with a nice home fixture against Bournemouth. I could leave that transfer to next week because I think Palace will snuff out City. I can't see Foden going on a tear up like he has been, and I'm really happy to go against Haaland captain this week as my boys to shut them out. And the only other decision I've got to make really is then who to play, Chris Richards or Xhaka in the starting lineup. And I'm more than happy.
Nice. Yeah. Again, I feel that your team's very balanced. Obviously, I assume you're thinking of ditching Virgil in the coming weeks, unless those clean sheets all of a sudden start popping up.
He's not a priority to get rid of, but his price tag, he's so frustrating. The Leeds collapse was shocking. Unless he starts to return in the next week or two, then he will definitely be saying goodbye.
Nice. One thing I was going to ask you about, being a Palace fan, is the Munoz injury.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how bad it is?
No,
I would probably play him against Man United if he's fit.
Well, it's a small injury. They've been nursing it for a little bit. It just flared up, I think, after the game against Burnley, so they didn't risk it against Fulham. Brought in Klein, who had a great game for his first game back for so long. So he could be back for the City game. I don't think he's playing midweek. I think he's been left behind, so he's going to rest up this week. So he could be fit for it. So if he is fit, then he'll be coming in for sure.
Nice. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Well planned out, mate.
Thank you.
On to me. So, not as well thought out my team. There's still plenty of moving parts. So there's a handful of things here. So I've lost patience with probably two players. So Mateta for me. I'm getting very bored of talking about his underlying stats of big chances created / big chances missed.
The big thing with Mateta is that his minutes cut. All the games that have built up, he's the one sacrifice because he just can't play game after game after game. He's been struggling to get to 60 minutes in most games now. So he has to leave your team.
So he he's definitely going to be gone for who, but I think we've had some good conversations. I think, yeah, Voltimide obviously I put in there because I selected him, but I think you're probably right. Looking at those stats for the price difference, I could invest that further. Van Dijk, again, the experiment on the clean sheets. I'm already bored of watching him.
Shot him already.
So I'm going to ditch him straight away. And then see if I can tell Riley. Obviously, I've picked Anderson in this occasion, in this draft for him. But yeah, I'm not sure if I would double up on Fulham because I'm not fully convinced on there. I'm fully convinced on them defensively, but again, Anderson's a bit of a DEFCON beast. So again, I'm not too fussed about having him either. So I'll be quite happy. And the last one for me is obviously Enzo. His underlying stats have been really strong in the last few weeks still, but he's just not getting the returns. And I'm just a bit concerned, obviously, with Palmer's starting to return to fitness, that he will then drop deeper and become less effective.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get ahead of it, and also Chelsea's fixtures become a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
In the coming weeks. So I'm thinking if I can get ahead of it early, and that's why I'm thinking Bruno Fernandes might be the way forward. So then lastly, obviously the goalkeeper, I've got injured Pope again, not rushed. I was just thinking, having 5 transfers, why not do it? Again, I quite like having this rotation of goalkeepers, where I can have one play one week and then have one play the next week. I quite like it from managing the fixtures perspective. So again, I've put Verbruggen there, but again, quite easily could look at Leno, quite easily could look at Keller, and I think that's what I'd be looking at. And then future, obviously monitoring Semenyo, lack of returns. I've lost count now. I think I'm just going to check it. I've lost count. 2, 3, 4, 7 game weeks. He has returned now.
Been very unlucky the last 2 though.
Yeah, if Evan Nelson could put away open goals,
or just not getting away of stuff.
Yeah, so I think he's been a little bit unlucky. So that's why I'm kind of keeping him on, especially for their next 2 games. Obviously, they've got Man United next, and then Burnley away, Burnley at home after that. So I will keep him and monitor him for those 2 game weeks, I think, and then see how he does before I make any decisions on him. But yeah, so for me, it's I'm looking at 4 transfers. I could possibly make 3 and just keep an injured Pope in. But yeah, I will probably downgrade Mateta. I like the Raul pick. It makes sense with the lack of strikers if I want someone that's potentially could play. And then the Fernandes pick, and then defense. Again, there's plenty of options at that Anderson price point. Maybe I could get up to O'Reilly potentially. So I will look into that and let you know. So have a boost, triple captainships to use in the coming weeks. I think triple captain maybe next week when City play West Ham.
Okay,
what I'm
you're not tempted this week with Saka?
Yeah.
You're gonna be tempted, surely. I was watching Wolves last night.
Yeah. Very true.
Is there a doubt about Saka's minutes against a team like Wolves, that he'll start, they blow him away and he'll come off after 60 minutes? Is that always a risk maybe for him?
I think there's a risk in general. I think they're definitely, you can see they're trying to manage him back from fitness. So I think that would be my only one wariness. If he yeah, especially if we're winning, does Madueke just come on? You know, please don't let it be the 59th minute. but yeah, tempted.
So I was going to ask you in general, like as a general thing about these 5-3s. You've gone quite bold there and technically made 4 or 5 potential transfers already, and I've gone the other way and removed AFCON players on the build up to it, and want to keep hold of as many transfers as possible. Because I think during this Christmas period, it could be quite handy to have a few. As a general rule,
Yeah.
Do you think there's one way better than playing it than another?
I think the way you're doing it, obviously, I think you've probably set your team up in a way that you're happy with it. And yeah, I could probably get away with only making 2, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I'll be able to get to the targets I want to get. I think that's probably the main issue on my part, is I need to move funds around to get to the likes of Bruno. But yeah, I think you're probably right to be cautious, because we do know these games come thick and fast. Players get rotated out, players get injured, suspended, with the quick game weeks. So yeah, you're probably right to be a little bit cautious and keep those transfers in your back pocket in case you need to make some last ditch after the Friday press conferences in preparation for the following game weeks.
Well, the suspensions as well.
Sure.
The yellow cards threshold is 19 games, isn't it? So, like Calafiori's out next week because he picked up his 5th yellow. Xhaka's on 4. Munoz is on 4. There's quite a few high-profile players out there that are on 4 yellows that could scupper plans by getting just one booking. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but tell me about it. It is. I mean, because Calafiori is now banned for the plum fixture that I had him there for.
That you planned him for, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Let's move on to Darren's team. Let's not be too rough with him, because he has 5 free transfers. I'm sure he's going to spend at least 7.
No, so he's made 3 transfers. He's wanted to get rid of what he described as underperforming assets. So he's moved Saliba out and Mateta out to Cash and Watkins for that good Villa.
We said about Villa's fixtures being poor coming up, and I think he's disregarded that and just gone for form, right?
Yes, I would suggest so. Obviously, 9 wins in 10. I guess you can't argue with that form.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to see who they've got after West Ham. Let me just check.
Well, that low down on the ticker, they didn't even make the screenshot.
So they have West Ham, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, then Forest, then Crystal Palace. So it'd be those 3 fixtures in a row: the Man United at home, the Chelsea away, and I guess Darren's thinking, especially based on them beating Arsenal at the weekend, that they can continue the scalps.
Yeah, the fixtures don't matter so
some
much.
of those teams.
Yeah.
So maybe he's getting ahead of the curve, which I quite like the risky Watkins pick.
Yeah, so do I.
It is risky because his form's been a bit indifferent. Obviously, he scored the 2 goals the week before last, but other than that, he's kind of been managed here and there, especially with Marlon being in pretty good form himself. But again, yeah, I quite like it. The cash pick, again, a reliable 90-minute man. And defensively, they've been pretty sound of late. And then he's gone Van der Ven to Gay to have double Palace available for what he just selected fixtures. Again, obviously, Gay is one of the top. Well, I think he is the top scoring defender. Is he still?
I think Munoz might be at the moment, but yeah, Gay's output on attacking front has been nothing short of miraculous in the last few weeks.
So yeah, so that's 3 transfers. He's saving 2. He says he's tempted to risk captaining in Cherky versus Palace or Watkins versus West Ham, but he's currently got it on Cunha versus Bournemouth. And
more
obviously he's
pick.
gone for some differentials, which I think is what he's trying to do by rising the ranks, by having the likes of Eze. Obviously, he was one of the first to be on Bruno G, and now everyone's talking about him. So he's done well there. Cunha again is fairly lowly owned. It's an interesting one. I can't really say. It's one of those where only time will tell whether the strategy works, but I like the boldness of it from him.
Well, Cunha was really unlucky last night in that game. He should have returned more than he did. I know Darren, I think, captained him last night as well. He got 1 assist. Jerky's been pointing out, as long as his minutes are better, he's a good pick. Eze, not sure. All the Arsenal players coming back to fitness, Eze's minutes have been affected quite heavily. His output wasn't, if you extract that hat trick, his output wasn't that brilliant anyway. But yeah, he has to go that sort of route, like you said, because his rank is low. He has to go for differentials to a degree. I would still like to see a bit more stability in that. Go for some 90-minute men and have some sprinklings of differentials around them, just so you're not completely blown out of the water if you have a bad week. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's see what happens this week.
Indeed. Oh, well, hopefully that helped everybody. I'll stop sharing my screen. And gave you some food for thought for how you're going to spend your Game Week 16 5 free transfers. Anything else you'd like to discuss, Scott? We are just over the hour mark.
Just really quickly, I hope they don't introduce the 5 free transfers again. I think the issue is going to happen is that people are going to remove their African players, and the template is going to be incredibly strong. And I hope not, because that sort of dilutes the game a little bit. So I hope that people still think a bit differently outside the box and use their transfers wisely. But I can see a very strong template forming, and one of those things, time will tell. But I'm a bit pessimistic about the introduction of them. Finish on a negative note.
Bring the time right down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if you're a negative Nancy like Scott, just ignore him.
Just have fun spending your transfers.
Yeah, let me know who you're spending your 5 transfers on, what strategy you're using for the upcoming Game Week 16 and beyond, and enjoy. Look forward to AFCON, and yes, good luck to everybody. See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.